Everybody has one? Was that grown, Alex? A no?
Yeah, I'll make it.
Here you go.
Bye, Alex.
You did have one. I'll see y'all later. Productive.
Yeah, I'll come join you in the formative.
Yep. I thought we were going on the formative, so I have that done.
We are going over the formative. Anyway, tell somebody next to you, by what two means will you be able to identify differences in viruses? What are two ways that we can look at viruses and go, these are different because? Talk. You can be wrong. Don't worry about being right or wrong. What are two ways? Ooh, that's not bad. I like that.
We can also see it how
I like your microphone. I like your.
Gee, thank you, Ella. Ella! No. Good guess, though. What about their structure varies? That's a great question. That's a great answer, actually.
Double or single-stranded DNA.
Good. So one means that we could do to check the differences is whether they have double or single-stranded DNA. That's a great answer. That's a great answer. I got to go to a table way back here, and it's going to be hard for you to see. All right. As a matter of fact, let's go like this. So if you look up here, these classes, and you don't need to memorize them. So class 1, class or family 1, is double-stranded DNA viruses. So the genetic material, the type of genetic material varies. In class 2, we have single-stranded DNA. In class 3 and 4 and 5, it's all going to be different types of RNA. We have double-stranded RNA, and then we have single-stranded RNA that have a particular purpose, and then single-stranded RNA with a particular different purpose, and then single-stranded RNA with a different purpose. My point is, one of the ways that we categorize viruses is by the type of nucleic acid, genetic material. What kind of genetic material does it have? Circle that if you have that in your notes, if it says something about genetic material. All right, underline it. That is one of the major ways that we tell differences. So you said structure and function, which is a great answer in AP biology, but very vague in general. So structure of the genetic material is a good answer. What other structures tell us that they're different? Yeah, go ahead.
Whether or not they reproduce by killing their host cell.
That is a great answer, but it's not right, oddly enough. That's going to come up, but that's not how we identify them. Take a look up here. Say it louder.
Diameter.
No, good guess. Yeah, that's nice.
Shape.
Yeah, kind of like what is the capsid? What is the capsid made out of? What are the characteristics of the capsid? Do you have the word capsid there somewhere? I bet you do, right? So two things. Does it have nothing but proteins, or does it have a lipid coat around it? All right. What is that shape or structure made out of, and what is that shape or structure? Like, is it icosahedral? That makes it something different. You don't need to know all the different types, but you need to know that we categorize them based on what's their capsid made out of, and what sort of genetic material is found inside. Say yeah. Up here, one of the types, and you see there are some really cool ones. I mean, like these T4s, bacteriophages are just cool. But this is a coronavirus. Influenza viruses are all coronaviruses. So the coronavirus that you guys know about is a broad category. It's like saying book, right? There are all kinds of books. There are all kinds of coronaviruses. This one happens to be a coronavirus. They call them coronavirus because these spikes out here, when they took images, it looks like there's a little halo outside of it. And corona means crown. You guys with me? So that's where coronavirus comes from. Okay, so different shapes and structures. Good? All right, secondly, let's talk about the reproductive lifestyles. Okay, viruses are pirates. Viruses are pirates. They take over. So this virus right here is entering the host cell, and there's some interaction that has to go on here. There is a receptor protein in this cell that the virus has got to attach to. And that's why respiratory viruses are respiratory viruses, because you don't have the same proteins on the outside of your epithelial cells in other parts of your body. So they can only attack. Cold viruses attack nasal passages, specifically because of the virus, the protein coat of the nasal passage tissues. Say yeah? Good, good, good. All right, so the virus gets in. This happens to be a DNA virus. And all it is a protein coat and DNA. So as a matter of fact, let's talk right now. Are viruses alive or not alive? Make an argument to somebody next to you. If viruses are considered living or non-living. Do you have an outline? Where is it? Good.
What is the definition?
What does it mean to be alive? What are the characteristics required for life? One,
To be capable of reproduction.
to reproduce. Anybody else? What are the three components that are required of all cells? What did we say? We learned earlier in the year.
Ability to replicate.
No. All cells have to have.
Oh, never mind.
The ability to store information.
No. These are really good answers. Cells have to have an outside membrane. They have to have genetic material. This is what you guys are talking about. And they have to have ribosomes. Right? We said any cell, the basic minimum for a cell, ribosomes, genetic material, and an outside membrane. Well, these don't have that. They can't make their own proteins. So wait, how do they make proteins? They hijack other cells. So this is the why people are like, living or not living. But, like you guys have brought up, they can reproduce as long as they're with other cells. Does that make them living? I don't know. That answer is still out there and nobody really is answering it yet. So anyway, so here we go. This maybe living, maybe non-living thing attaches chemically, right? And then a chemical process occurs, its DNA goes in here, and now transcription occurs from the viral DNA to viral mRNA, which is going to make viral proteins. So this cell, I don't know what this cell was, but guess what it's busy doing now? It's making viruses. It's making the parts of viruses. It's making the protein parts, and over here, it's using the cell's genetic replication material systems to make viral DNA, and then assembling those parts together to make more viruses. So I don't know what this cell was doing. It may have been a bacteria, but now it's a virus producer. Yeah.
So it like completely deactivates whatever it was doing before?
I don't know about completely deactivates, but it's definitely going to take over. As a matter of fact, let's go to the next idea here. Let's see, I want to go back. Here. Right? It's going to take over so much that in this part of the cycle, where again, viral DNA went in, viral DNA took over making proteins, making more viral DNA, making more and more viruses to the point where the cell explodes. And I'm guessing in the real deal, it's more than 5 viruses are released. It's probably thousands, hundreds of thousands, I don't know, millions, I don't know. Somebody look it up. It's called a viral replicative cycle. And now, how many other cells are now going to get attacked? Well, at least 5 in this case. And each of those cells is now going to become a viral factory. This is how you get sick. Your cells are being destroyed because they're becoming viral factories. Just for the record, what cycle is this? What reproductive cycle is this?
Lytic?
Lytic.
It's 10,000.
10,000 viral particles released. And then each of those 10,000 can infect 10,000 other cells to make 10,000 more. Cascade.
Necessarily that efficient,
Yeah, because some might get stopped by the immune system. Some of these cells, like at this point, they start behaving a little weird, and your immune system goes, "Hey, you're acting weird. You got to go." Right? And it might be apoptosis. It might be engulfing by a white blood cell. But that's how your immune system battles, and there are some ways to battle these viruses too. Lytic cycle. Find your lytic cycle in your notes. Make sure you know that in the lytic cycle, that the cell itself becomes a viral factory and then explodes and is no longer functional as a cell. It dies. That's evil. Would you agree that's evil? Like I, as a living thing, enter into you probably through your ear if it's a movie, right? Or up your nose. And then I reproduce inside of you and you explode and many of my babies crawl out of you.
And they're pretty rude, I'd say.
And then they all go into you and they infect you and do the same thing. Then they grow and they make babies and then poof, they explode inside of you. Does that sound evil? I think it is a movie. It's several movies, right? It's several movies. But there's a more evil plot. And that's the lysogenic cycle. In the lysogenic cycle, now we're on this side, that viral DNA inserts itself into this cell's genome. So it merges, it becomes what's called a prophage, or prophage if you can say it however you want. And then this cell is just like, I don't know what's going on. It goes about its day, right? And it has kids. But guess what's true of its kids?
Yeah.
They all have that DNA, and then its kids have kids, and their kids have kids. And so now we have multiple generations, and guess what's inside of each of those multiple generations of cells? Viral DNA. And then, for some reason, usually if we're talking about herpes virus, your immune system gets suppressed, you get tired, you're going to way too long of play practices, you're not eating right, you're not sleeping right, and your immune system goes down, or maybe some other virus attacks you. And then they jump into the lytic cycle and they become active. But who's the they? Those multiple generations of cells that have carried on that viral DNA. You guys with me? What's more evil? I attack and make you explode, or I attack, insert for a while, let you go around and reproduce and make more of me, and then cause you to explode and then spread more of myself.
One's definitely more effective.
Yeah. What's brand new Cadillac, me and Steve Schmitz down Main Street, New Prague. We see all, like, there's 3 cops in New Prague. We see 3 cops heading that way. Brand new Cadillac, he's like, punch it. I punched it. 60 miles an hour down Main Street, New Prague. Lights behind me.
And what's the difference between like all the different vaccines we have for COVID-19?
Again, it's the newer versions. We're always making a new vaccine for the new versions of the virus. New versions of the virus, new vaccine. New version of the virus, new vaccine. It's a constant battle. Good question.
What do you mean by like rabies is weird though? Like,
Rabies is weird. It just does weird things in your body. It does weird things in its life cycle. At one time I sent out a podcast about cheating death. You should listen to that if you haven't. It was when we were doing Louis Pasteur, so a long, long time ago. Rabies is, like, don't get rabies. Don't get rabies. Like, everybody thinks, well, we have a vaccine. Oh, we do. We do, but it's it hardly works. Yeah. Anyway, other virus questions. Oh, now there's a red light.
This light turned it on for you, now that we're done talking about
Yeah,
it.
now we're done. Okay, take out your formatives then. And
Alex said he has done.
yeah, we got to go get Alex. Is anybody leaving?
I'll go trade places with them.
Okay.
There. Tell me it's a half.
I'm leaving too.